I think the biggest update is that I'm single now. Those are words that I don't think I ever thought I would be saying in my mid-20s. Nothing was wrong, but at the same time, everything felt wrong. But at the end of the day, if you want what's best for them, sometimes you have to realize that maybe that's not you. Something that people don't really talk about is how like reality shattering it feels to go through a breakup like this. I'm sober now. If you didn't know, I, for the past like 4 to 5 years, have been a seasoned gardener. Smoke weed every day. And yeah, I just kind of cold turkeyed it. I've moved back in with my parents. I think there are still definitely times and days when I have no idea what the I'm doing. Good morning. Hi, my name is Kiana. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. I figured today we would do a little chit chat, get ready with me, and just catch up on everything that's been happening in my life recently, because these past like 3 months have been absolutely insane. So whether you're getting ready right now too and watching this video, or you want to grab a little drink or a snack, I made a little matcha for myself this morning. Ratio's a little off, but it's okay. As cliche as this sounds, I came prepared with notes for you guys just because there's been a lot. Okay, so to start off, I think the biggest update is that I'm single now. Those are words that I don't think I ever thought I would be saying in my mid-20s. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get right into it. I recently, and by recent I mean about almost 3 months ago now, broke up with my boyfriend. We were together for almost 6 years, which I think that was just a crazy curveball for sure. I did not think that we would ever break up, honestly. We met when we were like 19. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't think, you know, I don't want to talk about like him too much, because the breakup was definitely more so for me. It was also just one of those, like, there genuinely wasn't anything wrong in the relationship, which I think is also what makes this breakup so hard. Hi, Cora. I think the best way to put it is nothing was wrong, but at the same time, everything felt wrong. And I feel like that's, I don't know, it's kind of a unique situation. I don't think a lot of people go through that. Like, there wasn't any one bad thing that happened that I could pinpoint to say, like, he was such a bad guy, or this is why the relationship didn't work out. I think if we, I don't know. I go back and forth because it's one of those things where I feel like, yeah, maybe we had stayed together and kept trying, it would have worked, but at the same time, it just didn't feel right anymore. Like, I kind of felt like I was outgrowing the relationship, and I'm someone who has a hard time giving up on things, so I was really trying to make things work. But honestly, the best way I could put it is I almost felt like at some point my life just went on like autopilot and I almost didn't know how to take back control. I don't think it was like on one of us or the other person, but I kind of felt like we were both holding each other back in certain ways, and I also on his end didn't feel like he was maybe living up to his full potential. And I know that's not necessarily a decision I can make for the other person or tell them how they should or shouldn't be living their lives, but I don't know, sometimes you just try your best to make things work, and it just started to feel so hard. And I felt like, you know, in a relationship like that, like, yes, relationships are hard work, but it shouldn't have felt that hard. I also felt like we're both still so young. I mean, I'm only 25, so I wanted to give both of us a chance to kind of find ourselves again, and just, I don't know, I feel like we needed this time to grow in ways that we need to. I know that sounds so cheesy, it might not make sense, but I think sometimes you just have to realize when something isn't serving you anymore. And as hard as it is to leave situations like that sometimes, I just had this gut feeling that it was what we needed, like what would be best for both of us, even though it would be obviously super hard. And I feel like it just got to a point where we were growing so comfortable with each other that even though he was an amazing boyfriend, in a way it felt like we were both settling, which I think is just really tough to admit, especially when you love someone so much. But at the end of the day, if you want what's best for them, sometimes you have to realize that maybe that's not you, and that's okay. But enough about that. Moving on to, I guess, more like things that have happened post-breakup. The biggest update is that I'm sober now. If you didn't know, I, for the past like 4 to 5 years, have been a seasoned gardener. Smoke weed every day. It was always my favorite thing to do, but it just got to a point where I didn't feel like it was healthy. I also didn't think that I could fully ever quit and be sober. I was just like, I know eventually I don't want to like be so reliant on this substance, but I didn't think that there would be a world where I could actually make that decision for myself. There were a few things that led up to me making this decision though. Like, I ended up getting this NAD IV, which if you guys have heard of NAD, I think like Hailey and Justin Bieber love doing it, and I know Justin Bieber has used it to help like detox and stuff. It's supposed to be like an anti-aging thing as well, and like helps repair your DNA on a cellular level or something like that. I don't really understand the science behind it, but I did get an NAD treatment right after the breakup, which low-key gave me such an adrenaline rush. I kind of went into a bit of a spiral, and kind of semi-understanding the science behind it, I think, is what made me decide to just take advantage of that treatment. And yeah, I just kind of cold turkeyed it. Like, haven't gardened since beginning of July, I want to say, and I honestly feel pretty great. Like, it's not as hard or as big of a struggle as I thought it was going to be, which is nice. But don't get me wrong, there are definitely still days where I'm like, a fat would be really nice right now. And I think it's just so crazy because, I don't know, I'm not religious or anything, but I do believe in the universe. And I feel like even going through the breakup, that was the first time that I was really like choosing myself in a way and putting myself first. You know, kind of going back to like leaving what's not serving you anymore. I just kind of had this gut feeling that, you know, had I stayed in that relationship in the long run, I don't think either one of us would have been very happy. And in a way, especially being the oldest daughter, I think it's really hard for me to prioritize myself and the things that I want and not feel guilty or selfish about it. And I think that was another reason partially why I was putting off the breakup for so long, because I was just trying to convince myself like, no, this is something we can work through, you know, like I just have to keep trying, I just have to figure out different ways to tell him how I feel and what's wrong and all these things. And again, that kind of loops back to what I was saying earlier about it just started to feel so hard, even though it didn't always feel like that in the beginning. And just somewhere along the way, I just feel like we became so misaligned, and I think part of it was just like maybe us outgrowing the relationship too, because we started dating when we were so young. But yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy because I feel like after I made that decision to put myself and my well-being first in terms of the breakup, it felt like a lot of other things in my life kind of started falling into place in ways that I wanted it to or that it needed to. And it's not to say that, you know, oh, everything just magically happened. Like, I do think I put in the work and I've been trying to, you know, take the baby steps and make progress in ways that I knew best. But I don't know, it is just so weird how life works sometimes, honestly, is like just the best way that I can put it. But I will say it hasn't just been all like sunshine and rainbows since the breakup. It's definitely been very difficult for me. I think something that people don't really talk about is how like reality shattering it feels to go through a breakup like this. And I also feel like it's not actually super common for people to break up from such like long-term relationships. Like, yes, it is, but at the same time it isn't, in terms of like breaking up with someone who you really viewed like this whole entire future with, you know. I feel like most people who think that about someone end up actually being with them and marrying them. It's definitely taken me a while to adjust to my new reality, and I feel like there are some days where I still feel that way. And it's again been like 3 months since the breakup now. Especially being 25, I feel like I'm taking such a big step backwards. I've moved back in with my parents. I actually don't know if I mentioned that already, but yes, I'm back at my parents' place. Also now solo dog parenting, which that's also been quite the adjustment too, but it's fine. We love Cora, and I'm just glad that I have my family around to be able to help with stuff like that. And on the bright side, I don't have to pay rent, which I'm not mad about. But I think just in terms of like looking around at the people I'm surrounded by, especially friends and stuff, like a lot of my close friends are in long-term relationships with people who, you know, they think will be their future partners as well. Or like some of my friends have already started families, have babies. It's just crazy. So I kind of feel like I'm taking a huge step backwards, and I thought I knew what my life would look like these next like 3 to 5 years at least, you know, and now it just feels like I got that rug pulled out from under me, which is so fun. And especially as someone who is a bit more of a planner, like I am low-key such a control freak when it comes to my life, and I like knowing exactly how things are gonna go. So it's definitely been giving me a little bit of anxiety being in this post-breakup period. I know that this is all just kind of part of the process, but part of me definitely wants to press like the fast forward button throughout this time period and just kind of know what the next like chapter of my my life is gonna look like. And I think the other crazy thing too is just being, you know, an adult now, your life can go so many different directions, like truly. And that's the other thing that kind of drives me a little insane too, because like growing up, especially being in school and stuff, like you know exactly what the next step is that you're gonna take. And right now, I mean, I guess you could say the world is my oyster, which is really nice. But again, so many choices feels a little overwhelming sometimes, and part of me is just really nervous to make the wrong decision, but another part of me also is trying to tell myself that that is just life. And I think as long as you're happy and content and making decisions for you, everything will work out and fall into place the way that it needs to. And as long as, you know, you keep trying your best to work on yourself and improve in ways that you know how, and just put one foot in front of the other, I truly believe that whatever's meant to be will be. But yeah, just throughout the course of my relationship, I think I really started to lose myself somehow. Again, it has nothing to do with him. I just think sometimes, you know, things stop working and they just don't align anymore. And it got to a point where I really just felt like I didn't even recognize myself when I was looking in the mirror. So right now in this post-breakup era, I guess, I've really been trying to prioritize, you know, just doing things that make me feel like me again, reconnecting with friends. One of my friends who also is going through a breakup right now has been giving me really good advice, and she was just like, you know what, it doesn't have to make sense, just do whatever makes you feel above baseline. Like if it makes you feel even a little good, do it. It doesn't have to make sense. There doesn't have to be a rhyme or reason for it. This bird is driving me crazy. But you know, like if getting that $6 matcha is gonna make you feel happy, then get the $6 matcha. If you're craving a little beach swim in the morning, run down to the beach and jump in for a swim. I think for me, somewhere along the way, I really just like forgot how to do things for myself and stopped doing things that kind of made me feel like me and just made me happy. And so that's kind of all I've been doing recently, is just trying to get back to finding what my hobbies are when I'm alone, or taking myself out on solo dates and kind of like relearning to enjoy my own company again. I think there are still definitely times and days when I have no idea what the I'm doing and I have no idea what the next step is gonna look like. A big part of me, you know, eventually wants to have a family and settle down and stuff, but part of me is also so nervous because I'm like, how the am I ever gonna be able to afford a home or anything in this economy? And at this, you know, at this rate, kind of, especially being so single at the moment, but trying to not let that get too far to my head. And yeah, really just taking things day by day, putting one foot in front of the other, even if it means taking baby steps. We don't have to be taking any big strides or anything, but yeah. And I'm just hoping, you know, that with time things will kind of start to make sense again and I'll start to feel more like myself again. And I mean, even reflecting back on these past 3 months, I think right now I do feel so much more like myself than I have in the past like couple of years even. And I think every day does slowly get better after the breakup, but it's just so crazy. I feel like it's just been breakup season recently. Like everyone I've talked to has been going through it, has been crashing out, has been going through some sort of breakup, whether it be a romantic relationship, a friend breakup, whatever. So yeah, I know your 20s are just, it's so confusing. And I feel like every day I wake up and it's something new. And I'm like, when will this ever stop? Or maybe it doesn't ever stop, and that's just the beauty of your 20s. But I'm trying to learn to embrace the chaos and kind of just see where life takes me. But yeah, that is just kind of the current update. It's been a lot. I've definitely been very MIA, but I'm trying my best to get back into the swing of things, get back into work, get back to feeling like myself again, honestly. I know I've said that so many times throughout this video, but I don't know, it's just, it's such a crazy time. And it actually also, and it also shocks me how many other people feel this way or are kind of going through something similar. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a unique situation, but not a unique situation. You know what I mean? Like, especially for, I don't know, especially as I've been kind of going through this breakup, it's made me realize like not everyone is going to fully understand what it feels like to leave a long-term partner like that. Maybe to this, I don't want to say like to this extent, but yeah, it's really interesting. On one hand, obviously there are a handful of people who are going through long-term relationship breakups and know what it's like, but in terms of the people in my personal life, I feel like a lot of my close friends haven't gone through something like this. So when I do talk to certain people, I don't feel like they fully understand, but it's been nice finding the people who have gone through it and connecting with them. And I feel like even that, you know, in a way has kind of like expanded my circle, allowed me to connect on a deeper level with some of my friends. You just kind of have to find the silver lining in things when life gets so crazy. But yeah, that's kind of the update for now. TLDR, my life feels like it's in shambles. It's very chaotic. I don't know what the next step is gonna look like. We're trying our best over here. And I feel like that's all that matters and all that you can do. And again, I truly believe that as long as I prioritize myself, continue working on myself, doing things for me, everything that's meant to be will be and fall into place the way that it's supposed to. And that's the hope that I'm holding on to. But that is all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video.